Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room on another beautiful Whiskey Wednesday night here on the YouTubes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in for what is sure to be an epic night of whiskey tasting, whiskey thoughts, and whiskey pours, and whiskey all the things. I'm looking to my left. I'm like, dude, we got quite a lineup tonight. So welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody's ready to go through some fun stuff tonight, including the brand new Russell's Reserve 13. I was lucky enough to attend an event at Wild Turkey just yesterday and ended up grabbing the bottle. Got to see Bruce Russell, got to see Jimmy, got to see Jimmy's wife, and just hanging out, and it was awesome. So 6 hours in the car going back and forth, and it was well worth it, I think. So there you go. So yeah, we are ready to go tonight. What is going on? Jason, the stream last night was amazing. Oh, the Crittenden samples. Yeah, man, that is some great whiskey right there. The rye we found, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Whiskey, all the things coming at you. Somebody start that channel fast. Hurry up before it's copyrighted. Let's say hi to Roger Reese. Randall Erickson is here. We got the Bourbon Jerk. Great channel, guys. Go subscribe to Tom. Let's see. Sandeep Cheem is here. Nice to see you as always. We got Joey B in the house. What's up, Joey? Let's see. He said hi to Roger. Randall Erickson. Let's see. Who else is here? Tim Cornet. What is going on? We got Mike Daly in the house. Already have 247 people chiming in. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. You could be doing a lot of things tonight, like watching my Mets probably lose again. You could be watching the NBA draft. You could be watching the Bear. The Bear, I think, is coming back tonight, but you're choosing to watch me tonight, and I appreciate that, guys. Top Jimmy is here. What's going on, Toby? Nice to see you, man. Michael Speakerman is here. Rare Breed. Rich Flinchbaugh is here. What's going on, buddy? Let's see here. Who else do we got? A bunch of people coming in. Papa Steve. What's up, Stephen Walt? Stephen Walt is back as Papa Steve. Love to see you, buddy. John Farron is here. Cheers, Home Slice. Saying hi from a rear end and total 2015 Audi S4. Love what you love and love it loud. Time is short at the Mash and Drum. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, John. Glad you are okay. Sucks your car is not, but glad you're still driving around loud and proud, like you said, man. Cheers, buddy. Let's see. We got Brian Shrimp is here. Russell's 13. Let's go. He is ready. We got JG here. We got WV Whiskey here. He's got Russell's Reserve 13 Batch 3 in the Glen. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on the new batch. Yeah, we'll get into it. I got all the details yesterday, guys. I asked, Bruce as many questions as I can about this one. So we're gonna get nerdy tonight about it. It'll be good. Cheers, y'all. Jason, good to meet you yesterday at the Russell's event. You too, Steve Godfrey. Absolutely. Steve was one of the great people I got to meet. It was a great event, as Steve could attest to. So we're gonna, like I said, we'll take a deep dive here. Let's see. We got Jason Johnson in the house. Deadhead 1997. Excited for the Penelope opinion. That's right. We're going to dive into that. My son's baseball practice was canceled tonight due to rain, so I can actually participate, says the Wolf of Bourbon Street. Well, welcome in. Phil is here. Simply Phil. Douglas Pop is here. Let's see. Who else? We got Everett Jarvis is here. What's going on, Everett? Nice to see you, man. Tim, the two-man Taylor, is here. I'm sure you hear that a lot, and if you do, I'm sorry. A-Brod is here, and a bunch of people. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom here. Oh, shit. We have our first super chat of the night from Mr. Matt Robinson coming in with the fiver, coming in with the 5 spot. Says, cheers, everyone. Cheers, Matt. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate the support. Club World Cup, says Roman Carter. Bourbon Lovers here. Appalachian Bourbon Society. Mr. Jigsy is here. Damn, nice to see you, buddy. Diego G is in the house. I'm asking early, how does Barrel Batch 37 compare to Batch 35? Well, we can do I have Batch 35 somewhere? Now you're gonna make me hunt down for 35. Let's see. That's not it. Oh, I have 36. Is this 35 back here? Oh. Now I'm just making noise. Dude, those barrel batches are everywhere. I'll have to search for it, man. I'll look. But we'll see how this one is first. Do you have the Augusta Buckner 13 year or the Disco 11 to compare to the Russell Reserve 13? Augusta Buckner 13. I don't have a 13. I mean, I have a Buffalo Turkey. I do have Disco 11. I could do that. So, yeah. Need to reorganize the whiskey room. Yeah, I mean, I did organize it, but barrel batches I get so randomly that I kind of always just put them where I have space. And I felt like they were all right there. I thought I was going to do a good job at finding it, but apparently I did not. Maybe it's right over there somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. We'll look. Okay. Man, the OS making an appearance for a review. Haven't heard anything good about the wheated. For the Old Stubborn, really? So I had the first ever Old Stubborn, and I think it was wheated. This is not the wheated one. This is the high rye. This is the high rye Old Stubborn. So this is the one I really wanted to try. So that's why I pulled the trigger on it. We got Brian D. He's sipping on the Penelope batch. Okay, cool. Sean Holtgrave here. All right. I was on the noon slot. Captive says, I was on at the noon slot with Zach from Bourbon Kingdom. It was a great event. What time were you there? Says Captive. I was there at 2 p.m., 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock was my slot. So, okay, let's dive into this barrel. So, Barrell Craft Spirits recently dropping the 037 batch. So, batch 37. This has a range of whiskeys that go from 8 all the way up to 15 years old. Kentucky whiskey in here is 10 years. Indiana is 8, 11, and 12. And the Tennessee whiskey is 13, 14, and 15 in the blend. So let's see if the Dickel is strong with this one. We getting an online drop of the Russell Reserve 13? Yes. Yes, there will be. I mean, it's probably going to break the internet, but you're going to get one. You know, this one actually smells really sweet. This is not. Yeah, man. What are we going to put the Dickel meter at? 0 to 100 or 0 to 10? Where do you want the Dickel meter at? And I could kind of tell you where it's at here. Right now, I would say the Dickel meter, if I'm going 0 to 100, at least on the nose, I would say 50. It's not super strong. I feel like it comes through with the age, but the sweet whiskey that's in this blend, I think, is what is powering up the 0 to 69. Well played, Wolf of Bourbon Street. All right, let's give it a try, guys. Let me know what you're sipping in the chat, and let's get this night going. Got some fun stuff. Again, guys, real quick, I'm going to be here this week. Next week, I will be live, but then after that, I will be off for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks straight. I've been doing, I don't think I've missed a live stream in quite a while. So I'll be away in Denver in a couple weeks for work. So 2 weeks from now, I'll be in Denver. And then the following week, I'll be in Nashville. And speaking of Dickel, I'll be down there doing a George Dickel single barrel selection, and also 2 Jack Daniels barrels. So that's where I'll be the following week. And then we'll come back, and hopefully by then we could do the 100,000 subscriber celebration. That's the plan. So we'll see. Pop up live with Porter or Dara. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping to see them, especially in the beginning of the trip. That's really the only time I have time in Denver. Wow, this one actually has a lot of oak spice. The age really comes through. Oaky. Good spice. I didn't even say the proof, guys. I'm sorry. 111.38 proof. So essentially 111.3. If you like spice, oak spice, cinnamon, black pepper. Wow, this has a lot of spice to it. I would say it's got a little cinnamon red hot candy in it too. If you like that type of flavor profile, you will like Barrel Batch 38. It's got a ton of that spice. It doesn't bring a lot of heat, obviously, with only it being 111 proof, but it's got a lot of spice to it. A lot of spice punch here. I could even make a case for ginger here as well. It just has like that sweet burn, or that sweet spice, I should say, that it has. Maybe a little like a ginger snap cookie because it's a little bit sweeter. Just like a hint of molasses, not a lot, but there is definitely something there that's bringing this big oak spice to it. What weekend will you be at, Jack Dickel? We are not too far from there. We'd love to meet you in person. It'll be the week of July. Well, I'll be there July 18th is when I'll be there doing a pick. So if you're near Jack Daniels on July 18th, come say hi. I'll be at the distillery around like 2:00. I think we'll be at the distillery. I wish this had more sweetness. I wish the nose had more sweetness. I mean, I wish the palate had a lot of sweetness like the nose does. Like the nose, I was thinking, ooh, this could be a really sweet batch. But I think the oak spice and the baking spices are really driving the flavor profile here. So if I remember to answer that last person's question, I don't think this is going to be as good as 35. Let me take a quick look and see if I can find it here. Give me 1 second. I don't see it. I'm gonna go over here. Man, I have a good amount of barrel batches, but I don't see that one. No, unfortunately, I can't find it. But I mean, as far as the flavor profiles, I mean, that's basically what you're getting here. So, wearing your swag at Bocce tonight. The Goombas are asking about your channel. I love it, Anthony. Tell them thank you, and I'll send me some meatballs. I love the candied orange I get on the older Dickel. Yeah, Devin, I feel like that's what I'm getting on the nose. I'm getting some sweet. I'm getting some candied orange. I'm getting a little bit of a sweet ginger, but on the palate, it's just all spice. Yeah, even at only 111 proof, man, this brings a little kick to it. It's good. Yeah, Papa Steve's 35 was so good. Yeah, I don't. If I remember correct, I think I do remember liking 35 a lot. I don't think this is 35 level. This is a pretty good batch, but you have to like spice. So that's my quick take on the Barrel 35, Barrel Bourbon Batch 37. And again, I don't know if this opens up. It gets a little bit more tame on the spice front, but I don't see that happening because it's pretty strong here. Yeah, I think by like the fourth, fifth sip, you get used to it, but man, does it linger. So this is a nice little batch. I'm kind of digging this. I just wish it had a little bit more depth of sweetness to it to balance out the spice. I just feel like the oak spice is just taking over a little bit too much for me. But that's me personally. But if you like spice bombs, this will be your batch. All right. So I asked Barrel to send me another sample because I've been hearing that this is really good. So we're gonna test that theory right now. Ooh, they actually taped it up. They usually don't tape up their samples. So this is the Barrel Bourbon Cask Finish, the PX Sherry. So I've had a couple people that have palates I trust, including Dusty Dan. And who else told me how good this was? Somebody else told me it was really good. So I wanted to give this one a try and see if I agree. Then after this, we're going to get into the Penelope Cigar batch, which will be really cool. Let me turn on the old bottle cam here. There we go. Okay. All right, let's see here. Joining late. What's up, gang? What's up, John Vornick? We have 367 people in the chat already, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's see what else we got going on. So, yeah, sorry. I just want to apologize, guys, for the lack of content here this week. I was supposed to get a couple of videos out, but man, my work schedule has just been nuts. Given the big trip in the next couple in a couple weeks. So just working a lot of late hours, usually hours that I would dedicate to creating content. It's being kind of taken up by my job. So, but tomorrow I'm definitely plan on getting a full review of the Russell's 13 out, hopefully, and then probably quickly followed by the Penelope. And then we have this Michter's 10-year rye, single barrel rye, which is always great. We get that. I got to do a review of Larceny. And a really cool video I'm working on. Hopefully I get that done before I go away, which is my my most hated marketing terms in whiskey 2025. That'll be a fun video. I've been kind of compiling some different terms and phrases and things I hate. I think I got it pretty close to the point where I could film, so we'll get there. It's just a long rant video. It'll be pretty entertaining, I guess. All right. Have you tried the Barrell Foolproof 11 year, Jason? Good stuff. Barrell Foolproof 11 year. I don't think so. Rant. How dare you not give us free vicarious content? It'll happen. It'll happen. Did you kill What's on the Shelf Wednesday again? Says Outside the Star. Not really. It's just that yeah, What's on the Shelf Wednesday. I do have a bottle for it. Somebody gave me a great, and it's actually a Jefferson's. It's the Jefferson's, the Twin Oak. Somebody was really getting on me to do a review of that one. So that'll probably be the next. You know what? Listen, I promise you, I will film a What's on the Shelf Wednesday before I go on vacation. I will get it out there. It's not dead. It's just that with all these releases coming out so fast and furious, it's just hard to keep up. So it is what it is. It's just a work trip. Just a work trip. Which orange label barrel is that pour? All right, so here it is. Hopefully, yep, it's working. There it is. So this is the Barrell Bourbon PX Sherry. PX Sherry cask finish series. There it is. It says 6 years, but there's probably older stuff in it. 115.52 proof. There you go. And that's supposedly cask strength. So further down the shelf Friday, yeah. No rush, Jason. Take care of yourself first. The quality of your content always shows. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like to rush out content just to rush out content. So I need an alternative for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923. Wow. Damn. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C920, if you could find it. I think C920 was like the closest thing I ever found to C923, without it being C923. That's a really good batch. I remember doing the blind, and I was so blown away at how close C920 was to C923, at least in my opinion. I mean, you can't really even say Stag because Stag just doesn't have the oak profile that C923 has. Stag is sweet for sure, but it doesn't have that funky oak profile. You know what? I really wish Michter's 10-year was a higher proof point. If Michter's 10-year was a higher proof point, I would say that would be probably the closest thing. Given that Michter's 10-year tends to be 13, 14, 15 years old, depending on the single barrel. Jason, are you sourcing any Jack Daniels for Drum Key? Not yet, but it's not in the realm. King of Kentucky, says Nathan. Yeah, yes, but yeah, a little bit out of the realm of things. I gotta think. That's a really good question. What would kind of be the best alternative to that? Probably Russell's 15. Maybe even a Russell's 13 would probably be the closest thing. That's really going to probably be your best bets to get close to that. There's just not a lot of stuff at that proof point with that amount of age on it. That's not like a mega unicorn, and that's really the issue. Michael Hayden, when are we getting a collection video? I know. I feel like Michael always asks. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I have to clean a lot of shit up before I do it because my collection in the back, it just has I have this back room where I just have like 3 giant shelves with just bottles everywhere. But yeah, I could probably do that. I think it's clean enough in there I could do it. And in here, I did organize it for somewhat a good amount of time. I will work on that as well. I know people have been asking me forever to do a collection video. Yeah, I can do that, I think. The rant video on marketing terms and the collection video will be my next clickbaiters. See, here's the thing though. I feel like people are going to watch my collection video and they're going to be kind of underwhelmed by it because I don't have like all these crazy unicorns. I don't own one Pappy. I don't own one. I don't have any Pappy. I don't have any uh Van Winkles. I have none of that shit. I'm just not willing to pay the price. I've had samples of it and I'm not willing to pay the prices for it to buy all that shit. So I don't have that stuff. So I feel like people are gonna see my collection and be like, oh, he doesn't have any Pappy. But I don't. I don't have any. I don't have one bottle. I've never even gotten a chance to buy one. I've never won a raffle, nothing. So yeah, I don't have any of that shit. So I feel like people are going to be like, it's like an incomplete collection. But I mean, it is what it is. However, I do have about 70 something Russell's Reserve single barrels. I have a shit ton of Four Roses single barrels. I have some very, very unique other single barrels from different brands that I've truly loved that blows Pappy out of the water. I have a couple Willets. I have a lot of Old Turkey. So yeah, I mean, that could be cool. So yeah. Yes, JG, I secretly have a Blue Run collection. I have every butterfly ever made. Yeah, it's just basically a lot of what I like. It's not stuff that I feel like I need to have to complete a collection. However, I do have a couple of bottles with no labels on them that I can't even say what's in those bottles because I can't say what's in those bottles. All right, let's see how this PX bottle is here. That was almost a mini Pappy rant. Honestly, I would just love a Pappy 15. If I could just own a Pappy 15, I'd be happy. I don't, even maybe 20, 15 and 20 I'd like to have. Keep your 23. I don't give a shit about 23. It's just an oaky it's just too uninteresting for me. I don't care about 23. I'm sorry. Yeah, 23 I don't care. 20 and 15 I could take. 15 I love. 20, however, every now and again you try that 20 and it is an absolute vanilla bomb. It could be really good. Just depends on the year. Van Winkle 12 year. I have a couple Weller 12s. I don't need Van Winkle Lot B. It's a glorified Weller 12, let's be honest. And the Old Rip 10 year. It's okay. It's good. It's a solid bourbon, but it's not worth the $400 or $500 people are willing to pay for it. I'd rather have a $100 Four Roses single barrel pick than that Old Rip. So there you go. What if the Pappy was Stitzel Weller distilled, says Jason Cruitt? I would definitely want it more, but that's not around for a reasonable price. Yeah, it's not bad. I like the 107 proof on the Old Rip 10. That's the one thing that I think Old Rip holds over some of the others. So I'm sure each of the Russells has a dope story behind it. We want to hear it. Oh yeah, a lot of those Russells do. All right, so on this nose here, there is somewhat of the sherry, but the sherry comes through not as so much as dark fruit, but it comes through more just like powdered sugar, which is interesting. I'm like looking for like that grapiness that you get from sherry. Not so much with Oloroso. Oloroso, you get that nuttiness. You get sometimes a little bit of a funk to it. On PX, you get mostly kind of sugary, sweet, candied like dark fruits. Let's see what we get here. Oh, that is pretty good. Okay. Man, the sherry influence is so subtle, but it's just enough to make things interesting. Finish is nice on this one too. It's like, but man, I feel like I want more sherry though. Van Winkle family of the rye. Kristen, I've had the rye once, and I threw it in a blind immediately, and it got last place. I think the rye is one of those ryes, the Van Winkle Reserve rye. I think it's one of those ryes where don't worry about comparing it to other stuff. It's one of those bottles just to drink on its own and enjoy it because it is a unique rye overall. But man, you put it in a blind against some other hit or rise, it just falls flat. But again, there are whiskeys that are just meant to just enjoy on its own. Don't worry about saying it's better. This one's better. This better. Listen, more times often than not, you're going to find something that's better than some allocated high price item because even if just the proof is lower or just the way the whiskey was made, you might like something a bit more modern over something that's, a complete unicorn. And that happens all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. But, sometimes you just have to appreciate the bottle, what it is and what it's for. Everybody wants to immediately throw shit in a blind to see if it gets beat by something else. And I get that part of it. But there are just some bottles that just are made to be enjoyed on its own sometimes, Oh, thank you so much, John Kite. Joined a little late, got Rare Breed in the glass and Oliva Series V. Milano fired up. Good. Brandon Cole. That's my favorite. That's my favorite stick right there. Oliva Series V Milano. That's my favorite. All right, so this is good. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. I'm gonna have to talk to Dusty Dan and see why he liked this so much. It was good. I mean, it's good. I don't think it's like phenomenal, but solid finish. The PX sherry is so subtle here. I just wish there was more of it a little bit. Damn, Top Jimmy coming in, giving out memberships. Top Jimmy, guys, the Oprah of Whiskey Tube, just giving out the gifts. Thank you so much, Toby. You're the man. Totally agree. Blinds help with some things, biases, but it doesn't necessarily mean you run those bottles more drinkability versus beatability. Yeah, totally agree, man. It's a great way to put it. The palate is so influenced by other sips in a blind. It's no objective value like some people claim. Oh, I totally agree. I've been saying that for a long time. Like you get influence from pour to pour to pour. So, but again, it just sometimes just enjoy the bottle of whiskey without worrying, compare it. Like, I feel like that happened with Russell's 15 last year. Every bottle that came out after Russell's 15, no matter what price point it was, or if it was a high price, is it better than Russell's 15? Is it better than Russell's 15? And I get that to some point, but it's like, all right, well, you want to compare like a 19-year-old wheat whiskey to Russell's 15? Chances are Russell's 15 is going to be your favorite, but again, sometimes a whiskey like that, a 19-year wheat whiskey, doesn't really come along too much. So just enjoy it on its own sometimes. It doesn't have to be put against, a monster every time. JD 14 versus Russell Reserve 15. I'd probably still take Russell Reserve 15. I think I did that. Didn't I do that? I feel like maybe I didn't do that. Pulled out my bottle of Remus Repeal 8. Well, hold on a second. And it's definitely better than the initial pour from a few months ago. Yeah, Matt's Palace, it's a good batch. I think people sleep on it. I think people just have written off Remus Repeal ever since batch 5 and nothing has lived up to it. Now, I'll give you this. 6 was okay, 7 meh, but 8, the last one was pretty damn good. So Jason, you did. Russell Reserve 15 slapped it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. JG, that might be the most wise thing you've ever said. Is it better than Russell Reserve 15 or Pappy? I don't have to worry about that. Yeah. I mean, Russell Reserve 15 is probably better than Pappy to most people. All right, let's get into this one. This is one that I was hoping to get a review done. Haven't been able to get it done. So let's try it tonight. This is a very unique whiskey from Penelope. And actually, before I spill this everywhere, the label is just so spot on. You talk about a cigar and what a cigar wrapper looks like. Like, picture that this bottle is a cigar, and then you have the wrapper just going around it. I mean, how cool is that? They nailed it with this one. I mean, yeah, say what you want about Penelope, but their marketing, their bottle design is so on point. This is a very, very well done, beautifully designed label and bottle. It really does feel like a cigar wrapper around the outside. So let's get a pour. This is a really interesting blend. Okay. Actually, I'll keep this here. Now I do have all the information here because I am kind of writing stuff out, getting ready for the review. So some interesting tidbits about this blend, real quick, guys, and we'll go through it here. So basically, this is a blend of straight bourbon, 100% American single malt, and American light whiskey. So that is the blend. A pretty unique blend. You don't see it too often. But this was crafted in collaboration with cigar blender Sin Coburn of Dissident Cigars and Lee Marsh of Stolen Throne Cigars. So they had some pretty heavy hitters in the cigar realm, kind of helping blend this to see what would go with a cigar. Now, this is strictly aimed at medium bodied cigars, not heavy, not, earthy cigars, not real tobacco heavy, not heavy aged cigars, but a medium bodied cigar, not as light as a Connecticut, but somewhere in the middle. So an Oliva V would be kind of perfect for this cigar. For this whiskey. So the mash bill comes out to 70% corn, 15% rye, and 13% malt. It's bottled at 101 proof, and it's $80. Anything else that I found out here? No, I think we're good. Okay. Let's try this thing. This is one I haven't gotten to get into yet. I know we don't heard good things about the Penelope straight light whiskey and straight single malt. Yeah, you don't really hear that too much. Remus Repeal 7 got really good with some airtime, says Paul Madden. But is it a blend of straight whiskey? So it will work with Swisher Sweets. I can't even say that damn word. Okay, let's get into this one. 101 proof. Beautiful bottle. This is chapter 1. So they are going to have other chapters that follow this, apparently. And we'll have different blends in it. Who knows if they use a rye in an upcoming blend, more American single malt. We'll see what happens. So, and I also read that they use more of the rare casks that Penelope has access to, which is pretty much every cask on the MGP campus because, well, they're Penelope. So first things first, it's kind of light. And maybe that kind of plays into the light whiskey, American single malt. We don't really have an age statement here. So I'll see what we get. Man, I smell the malt for sure. I smell the malt. The malt comes off a little bit chocolatey, which is very typical of American single malt. Can you use the label to roll a blunt? Asking for a friend. If you're in Oregon or Wisconsin, McMenamin's Hogshead whiskey is a similar profile to the Penelope cigar. Yeah, this definitely needs some airtime because when I first just nosed it, it was kind of grainy, and I'm like, I don't like that. That means youthful to me, and it's getting better. Hold on a second. What is? Yeah, Toby and Marty from Whiskey Nose always like to text like crazy when I'm live. I'm gonna turn that off. Thanks, guys. All right, so initial thoughts on the nose here. It definitely has a hint of chocolate from the malt, I think. It's slightly fruit forward. A hint of spice here. Make the whiskey dizzy. Pappy Van Stinkle, the bourbon you never knew you needed. All right, I'm just going to dive into the palate here. Let's see what we get here with this. Mm. Man, it's subtle. You get a very light caramel. I get apple, maybe just a slight hint of that chocolate I was getting on the nose. Not a lot of it. It's very subtle, but man, the apple, the a little bit of the yeah, it's a light caramel. It's a light caramel. Trying to like I'm trying to find the light whiskey. That's why like my head is spinning right now. The oak is very light. It's all very sweet. Not very sweet. Check that. It's not very sweet. It's lightly sweet. The oak is light for sure. Um, Slight hint of spice. This might be one of those whiskeys where you kind of have to have with a cigar. So I might have to. I'm going to test that theory before the review. I definitely know I have a medium bodied cigar. I have a few Oliva V's upstairs, so I will definitely fire one of those up when I do the review here. But this is one of those whiskeys that I feel like may need the cigar to bring out the best in both the cigar and the whiskey. Because on its own, the whiskey is good. It's a little bit thin. It's not overpowering by any means. It's got a nice little spice to it. It's got some sweetness, but everything is very light. Everything is coming across very light. And that's probably on purpose in order so they could balance it out cigar. This isn't something I would pour every day to sip on. I think that this is, it's made to be what it's made for. Um, the Bocce Goombas in Akron are your new followers. All right. Thank you, Bocce Goombas. Again, send me some meatballs. Will it go great with Marlboro menthol, says Kyle Smith. Damn, dude, that's old school. On that sip, I got the light whiskey, where you got this really nice hint of like buttery toffee in the mid palate. Buttery toffee mid palate, light oak on the finish, little bit of spice. The chocolate for me just kind of disappeared. I'm not really getting it anymore on the palate. Really, that light toffee and spice and light oak have really kind of taken over the experience. Um, Beard Zone is here. 480 people in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for chiming in. Appreciate everybody. Corn and whiskey, Cedar Ridge. I need it in my life. It's on its way to Shared Poor, man. We're close. Any hint of the French oak? Is there French oak in here? They didn't say there was any French oak in here. And check that. This is not a bourbon, guys. If I said bourbon, I'm sorry. This is an American whiskey. An American whiskey. Yeah, I have to try this with a cigar. I feel like for me, and here's my again, I'm gonna be honest. This is it lacks something on its own, but I feel like with a medium bodied cigar, this could actually be really good. It might pair really well with it. So I will definitely test that theory before I do the review. So we'll check that out. But on its own, it's just kind of a good sipping whiskey. There's nothing really that stands out. And I'm wondering again if they did that on purpose. So when you have a cigar with it, this whiskey brings out the best in the cigar and vice versa. Maybe when you have the cigar with the flavors in here really start popping off here and bringing different things to the table. But on its own, it's just a good solid sipper. Nothing really stands out. It's sweet. It's light at the same time, but there's not anything bold about it, and that's probably on purpose. So I would this might be one that like okay, so I'll say that if you're a whiskey geek that doesn't like cigars, this is probably a try before you buy. I would just try this first before you just want to have it for your collection, because if you just want to drink it, I feel like there's other stuff, even better stuff from Penelope that's out there. However, if you're a cigar smoker, I will let you know how good this is with a cigar, but I feel like this could bring out the best in both places here. So No, this Kristen Mungie, this is not a Joseph Magnus level cigar blend. It's a completely different. Remember, cigar blends do not have a designation. Everybody kind of goes off of the Joseph Magnus template because they were the first one. What Nancy Fraley did back in, what was it, 2018, 2008? I forgot when was the first one. I think I'd written it down here. 2016. So 20, I said 2018. So 2016 is when Joseph Magnus introduced the cigar blend. And ever since then, that's kind of been the template for a lot of different folks with, a couple different finishes, cognac, Armagnac, rum, things that people typically have with a good, cigar. But that's not been the case. Then Amburana got into the party from Starlight. Starlight named it a cigar batch, and then all of a sudden, Amburana was the one to have because it tasted like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Then on top of that, you have who else did a cigar batch? You have Tanager from Still Austin, which just used a different mix of corns to make that type of cigar blend. Remember, there's no designation for cigar blend. It could be whatever you want it to be if you want to label it as such. This is not finished. It's just a unique blend of light whiskey, American single malt, and bourbon, which I don't think we've seen before in the space when it comes to calling something a cigar blend. So, but yeah, and that's really the truth. As a non-smoker, I'm going to zone out for a while. I'm almost done. Yeah. Old Elk Cigar Cut. That's another great example. Use of rum, sherry, port wine. Dalmore has been repping the cigar blend since 1999. That's true. That's a good call out, Kyle. Dalmore might be, the cigar blend. That might be the first one, 1999, man. That's a great call out, dude. I'm going to have to include that in the video. Dalmore cigar. I thought Dalmore though got a lot of shit all the time because they added coloring to their whiskeys. Is that true? They added the E, what is it? The E30 or the E50? I forgot what the coloring was called. But didn't they add a lot of that shit to their whiskeys that got them a lot of flack? So Dalmore always was kind of looked upon as somebody that wasn't so transparent because they were adding a lot of that E30 to the mix. Yeah, they use coloring. Nancy said that cigar blends are common in cognac. Yeah, in cognac, when she's been on this channel, she said that was her inspiration. How does she bring it to American whiskey? And she did. J.E. says, it sounds like an overwrought riced mid bourbon. Why not just have a 101 Evan Williams single barrel or a benchmark for half or 1/3 of the price as J.E.? I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a fine assessment if you want it as such. But I will say the blend here is different, and I'm just curious how it's going to go with a cigar. So before I drop the video, I will do that. Maybe I'll even shoot part of the video on my porch trying it with the cigar. That'll probably be helpful for a lot of folks. So we'll see. Jacob Pours, no, I have not yet. I'm trying to get my hands on one of those. Right now, secondary on those are just stupid. And I haven't come across one in a store yet. So I'm hoping Ohio gets that bottle at some point, but I have not had it yet. So yeah. Dalmore added microplastics. Is that true, Rob Drabinski? I thought you were reviewing the Bowman cast strength today. I mean, I could do it. It's right here, number 4. I could review 4. I'll have to do that though after I review the 13, because the 13 is really the highlight tonight. So, all right, man, what are we gonna get into next here? Do I want to do the Riot? Do I want to do Old Stubborn? Michter's 10-year. Man, what do I do here? Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna go with the Old Stubborn. All right, so this is the Old Stubborn single barrel pot still straight bourbon whiskey from Rising Tide Spirits. Oh, look, I got the plastic on the bottom too there. There you go. Oh my God. It's like the worst ASMR ever. Sorry, guys. So you have the Old Stubborn and the Old Swagger, which they released in tandem. So here's the Swagger. So the Old Swagger is 12 years old, bottled and bond, 100 proof. And the Old Stubborn, now you have a couple choices here. You have the wheated bourbon or the high rye bourbon. This happens to be the high rye bourbon, coming in at 133.23 proof. So I'm excited to try this one. I mean, look at the color of this, guys. This thing's crazy. Check this out. Look at the color of that whiskey. That's crazy dark. Look, you can actually see the reflection of the camera and everything on that bottle because it's so dark. Bottle count on this one was 130. This is bottle 112 out of 130. So captive. I have not tried the new Raven batch yet, so I'm hoping. Dude, the Ravens are so good. Take is killing it. Jay is just killing it this year. So I'm curious to try that one. Hopefully I can get my hands on that. Jay, if you're watching, I could use a new Raven batch because I wasn't selected. What's the point of such a beautiful bottle in such a shitty cardboard tube? I don't know. I feel like the tube protects the beautiful bottle a little bit. Something holding this in besides... Oh, Jesus. Cork is really protecting the whiskey here. Okay. So this comes in at 133 proof. Hand selected by Ed Blay. These 12 single barrels are aged from 11 to 14 years and were chosen for their unique characters and outstanding quality. They are presented at cask strength with minimal filtering, so minimal. While each release is a sibling of the others, none are alike. They demonstrate a wide variance in the spectrum of profiles, each to be relished in their distinct identities. We hope you enjoy drinking them as much as we enjoyed creating them. All right. There you go. Old Stubborn. Let's try the Stubborn. Let's get Stubborn here. See what we got. Let me just nose this real quick. Smells good. Jacob Pours, what's on the feet tonight? I have a pair of Travis Scott Fragments. There you go. Travis Scott Fragments. Just got these. So, yeah. That's what I'm rocking tonight. Love these shoes. A little bit off-white laces, off-white symbol. So, yep. That's what I got. 15 barrels, 3 of them founders, says Bourbon Politico. Jason's reflection in the topper. That's a pricey pair. Actually, not that pricey. Not that pricey. I actually got them. I got them for a good price, so wasn't too bad. I didn't have to give up too much to get them. Ooh, that's a proofy. That's a proofy mother. Okay. Before we get into, I'm going to let that air out a little bit, let it open up. In the meantime, we have a few news stories, not much, but I don't know if you guys saw this today. That's right. That's Jackie Zykan. Jackie Zykan is officially stepping away from Hidden Barn Bourbon. Jackie Zykan and Royce Neely announced that Zykan is stepping away from Hidden Barn Bourbon and Neely Family Distillery will continue production of the brand. Zykan created Hidden Barn Bourbon in 2022 in partnership with Royce Neely and Nate Weiniger in 2024. Neely purchased Hidden Barn from the partners, with Zykan remaining as master blender and Weiniger as brand manager. Weiniger will continue his role as brand ambassador, and Neely will continue production of Hidden Barn with the same flavor profile that it's known for, which has earned it multiple awards. Has it? Sorry, that was a dick thing to say. Zykan will stay involved with the Neely family distillery by supplying some of its herbs used in its absinthe. We have been thrilled to work with Jackie over the years, and we look forward to continuing to work with her in a different capacity as she supplies some of our herbs for our Neely's Wormwood Absinthe Verte. Neely said in a news release, "We learned a lot from Jackie and have the utmost respect for her palate and blending abilities. Plan to continue to make Hidden Barn just as we have before." And there you go. So kind of a short-lived partnership there with Jackie Zykin. I mean, listen, I don't, I love Jackie. She's been on the channel multiple times. She's great. But it's just one of those things where I just think the experiment really didn't work out. I think the real issue was that the first release just kind of doomed the whole brand, unfortunately. I think after that first release happened, it was just really, really hard for them to recover. They never really got their footing. They did release a couple of, good releases here and there, but it just wasn't enough to really gain the traction that people wanted. So, we'll see what happens with it. I mean, yeah, if they were bottling bourbon right after their absinthe, they'd make sense taste wise. Yeah, I think people were really, really excited about it. Now, if you remember it, guys, people were so excited about Hidden Barn when the press release came out and Jackie was talking about it. Jackie's leaving Old Forester. It made so many headlines that Jackie was leaving Old Forester. It was a big deal. So she leaves, she goes to do her own thing. And then we're kind of reading it's going to be Wild Yeast and almost like the complete opposite of what she did at Old Forester, where you have to stick to a profile, where there's a method, there's a madness, there's everything that follows. There's an oak char, there's a methodology to the aging, to heated warehouses versus non-heated warehouses. There's blends, there's the birthday bourbon, she started the 117 series, if you remember. She did a lot of great things at Old Forester, and then she completely went the opposite direction. And I think, unfortunately, that first blend, when it came out, it just was so off and so just, it's the best way I could say it. And you know what? That blend got like in the beginning, I remember trying it. I was like, oh, this is different. But then the more I sipped it, I feel like it got worse. And I think once that happened, it just doomed the whole label, unfortunately. So, and then people were just like, well, this isn't going to work. So people just kind of ignored it. And unfortunately, she started her own perfume company or cologne company called Eau de Oak. And so she's working on like colognes that have different sensory levels of bourbon and whiskey and oak and other stuff. I haven't smelled any of it. So, yeah, just a different direction. So, yep. She probably cashed the check, though. Oh yeah, I'm sure she did. You still, I do not have some. I do not have that bottle. I got a sample, and I never bought a bottle because I couldn't do it. Yeah, never met her. But she seems like, she's a great person. She even told us on the channel that she's got a lot of. She tends to get bored very fast. She likes to do different things all the time. So this kind of tracks. Hopefully she does something new and something next real soon here. We'll see what happens. Okay. Next up, this bottle has been making some headlines. The new Redemption. That's right. Redemption is apparently bringing somewhat of a banger here to the shelf. Let me see here. Let me get to the details. So this is Redemption's new 18-year-old bourbon. It's according to this article, it's 2025's best whiskey so far. So on June 5th, Redemption Whiskey unveiled the latest expression in its ancient series, an 18-year-old bourbon with a $399 price tag. Sourced from MGP in Indiana, it was described by Redemption Whiskey master blender Alan County as one of the rarest and most complex expressions we've ever had the privilege to release. This bourbon's age-proof, limited nature, and striking bottle design were enough to get us excited for its release, but truth be told, we didn't expect it to be so impressed by this release. This 69-barrel blend of two mash bills, 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% barley, and 60 corn and 36% rye, 4% barley, is bottled at cask strength, only 103.4 proof. Tasting it, we were blown away by its depth of flavor and perfect level of oakiness. We tip our caps to Kennedy for his work in crafting this masterful blend. It got a 90. Let's see, at 96, Redemption Whiskey 18-year-old is the highest rated whiskey release in 2025. Rob Report dubbed it better than Pappy 23, and we agree. Wow, interesting. Okay. I don't know. I have a hard time paying $400 for something that's only 103 proof. I mean, I don't know. I think the junkies were talking about this last night. Was it, what they think of it? I'm just curious. Does it come with a straw? Yeah, no. Yeah, a lot of stuff is better than Pappy 23. It's not a bold statement. Yeah, kind of my favorite rhetoric here with this stuff is when you're saying it's better than Pappy 23, you could say that, but your whiskey's never going to be looked upon as a Pappy 23, no matter what you do. I'm sorry. They were sent a media sample and want to get a whole bottle, says Travis. Really? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I would have to get a sample of that. Nope, can't afford it. I just bought Calumet 18. Besides, the bottle's too damn short. Looks like a bottle of cologne. Best year. So this brings me to kind of an interesting point here. I don't think I remember a year where I've seen so many $200 plus bottles release. I mean, think about it. Think about the last releases, the last reviews I've had to do. Calumet 17, 400. Calumet 18, 500. Old Stubborn over here, 250. Michter's, the 10 years, 225. What else? The Russell's 13 went up in price. That's 2.25 with tax, about roughly. There are some great priced whiskeys that have released, in between, like Wild Turkey 8-year, the Old Fitz, but it seems like it's either $200 plus or under 100. There's no in between. What happened to the like $125 bottles that we used to love? Everything has gone over 200. So any thought of there being like a price correction in whiskey, I feel like has just been thrown out the window, at least for now. It's still really expensive. So Bomburgers and JD14, yeah, that's a between. JD14, so Jack Daniels has always been the outlier. They always price their stuff so competitively well. It's great what they do. But not everybody has that type of volume. Listen, I've said this before. Jack Daniels has Old Number 7. That is the moneymaker. That is the whiskey that they could churn out over and over and over each and every day, and it could just make bank for them. And because of that, they can price stuff accordingly. They can price stuff competitively. Not every distillery has that. So, when people say, oh, I could get Jack Daniels for this, that's because Jack Daniels has Old Number 7. Not every distillery has that type of a product. Jim Beam has Jim Beam White Label. Everybody has that kind of the big distillers have that type of volume where they can price stuff competitively. Not everybody has that. So I'm not saying you have to forgive some of the pricing of these whiskeys, because some of it is ridiculous. And obviously some of these are very, very overpriced. But, I feel like there's a reach there. And when a company or NDP has something special, they're going to try to make as much money as they can off of it because they feel like it's special, and they could price it accordingly to make as much money as they can while they have that special release. Dude, guys, pricing models, margins, it all fits. And unfortunately, the NDPs and some of these other, an NDP like Old Stubborn, who sources barrels, they don't have the margins that a Jack Daniels does. It's, it's not apples to apples. Even as much as we wish it was, it's not. And that's can be what's frustrating. So, let's see here. Yeah, but we're talking about MGP here. They probably make more than JD, no? They make more than JD, or probably pretty close, but MGP doesn't have a moneymaker that JD7 had, that Old Number 7 is. What does MGP have that sells like Old Number 7? They don't have a whiskey like that. No way. They make a lot of stuff from other distillers, but they don't have a moneymaker. Old Number 7 is bought everywhere. It's everywhere globally. I don't think MGP has one product like that. Let's see here. Campari's pricing. Yeah. Yeah. Why doesn't Turkey what? Why doesn't Turkey? Oh, why doesn't Turkey price it competitively? Well, you have to ask Campari. That's a Campari thing, not a Turkey thing. Bruce Russell says it all the time. Bruce Russell, I mean, we were just talking about it. We just asked him, why the price is going up. He's like, dude, if we could, we would price everything $150, $200 if we could, but they can't. Campari controls the marketing, the pricing models. It is what it is. So blame the Italians. All right, let's get into this Old Stubborn here. 133 proof. Bourbon for bacon. Shanks over Bomburgers. 2 years ago, I liked the Shanks over the Bomburgers. Last year, I liked the Bomburgers over the Shanks. We'll see what happens this year. Which does bring me to the last story of the night. It is about the Shanks and Bomburgers. I didn't think we were going to see another Bomburgers after the PFG, but that is not the case. So Shanks and Bomburgers are releasing here in 2025. The 2 annual expressions are part of the Michter's Legacy series. Includes a third whiskey introduced this year, Bomburgers PFG, Precision Fine Grain. The Shanks Homestead 2025 is bottled at 91.2 with a suggested retail price of $110. And the Bomburgers Declaration, a higher proof release at 108, is priced at 120. Now, let's see what they did here with it. Each release reflects a focus on wood selection and aging. All right, so for Bomburgers, guys, and I say this every year in my reviews, you have to go on the website before you buy a Bomburgers or a Shanks and look at what they did with the aging, what they did with the barrels. No year is the same. No year is the same. So 1 year they could use malted rye, malted wheat. They could use some crazy finish. The problem is they don't disclose it on the label. The only way you're going to find out is if you go on the website and see what they did to it or read a press release. People will buy a Shanks 1 year and they think it's going to taste like the one the previous year. No, they do different shit every single year. So keep that in mind before you buy it. So let's see what they're doing to it here. Bomburgers, again, use Chinquapin oak barrels. So this is a signature element of the whiskey's flavor profile. The barrels were seasoned outdoors, ranging from 18 months to 5 years to influence the oak's contribution during maturation. Okay, that's the bomb. So they went back to the Chinquapin just like last year. What did they do to the Shanks? Once again, Chinquapin barrels have been contributed to the hallmark flavor of Bomburgers. All right, what did they do to the Shanks? What happened to the Shanks? They said nothing about the Shanks. What the hell? All right, I'm going to have to go online and find out what they did to the Shank. Okay. Bomburgers. What did you do to the Shanks? I don't know what they did. Okay. Go online and find out, guys. I'm going to have to find out what they did to the Shanks because it does not say so in this press release. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, a couple of labels that popped up on the TTB. Remus Gatsby Reserve coming in at 15 years old this year. Cask strength. If you look at the proof down there, I believe it says 118 proof, I think. So I think it's a pretty high proof point. Let me double check that. Yeah, 118 proof for Remus Gatsby. That's a lot higher than it's been the last couple of years. So that might be something cool people want to check out. But again, what do we say? It's a $250 bottle-ish. There you go. And speaking of Jay and Take, he is collaborating with Bardstown Bourbon Company. Looks like they're putting out a 125.5 proof blend. Here are the blend details. It has some Kentucky whiskey in it using some Heaven Hill there at the top. Second one down is another 9-year. Looks like it's using some Barton. We have a 33-year Canadian whiskey, a corn whiskey, 100% corn in the blend as well. And then it's finished off by a 70-21-9 7-year Kentucky, which is most likely their own mash bill, or it could be Green River. So it's one of those mash bills. So there you go. So we'll look forward to that. And that is really it. That is those are the releases. All right. We're going to get into this Old Stubborn, and then we're going to get into the Russell's 13. Man, I'm glad I let this open up because this smells fantastic. The Mash and Drum. Cheers, Jason. I have your Barrel King and Pinhook picks in front of me tonight. Oh, nice, Tony Bag of Donuts. Love them. Oh, meme of the week. That's right. Let's go to the meme of the week. Thank you for reminding me, from JG. Here we go. We got the bourbon meme of the week, guys. This was hand selected by a patron. I thought this one was pretty good. This one's very wholesome. Not really. Here's the bourbon meme of the week. Here it comes. Boom. It's a lovely mom making a cocktail for her daughter. Never let a cocktail recipe tell you how much whiskey to use. Measure that shit with your heart. Come on. That made me laugh. Come on. Measure that shit with your heart. That's right. Don't let a recipe tell you to use 2 ounces of whiskey when 4 ounces will be better. measure that shit with your heart. that could be used on many levels, I think. I dig that one. Okay. All right, there we go. Let's get in here. Smell the rye. Little bit of a what do you call it? Clove coming into effect here. Man, allspice for days, clove, rich caramel. There's definitely that spice from the pot still. Pot still brings such a nice spice to the whiskey. I'm hoping that this is as rich and has a nice texture as I'm hoping. Pot stills tend to bring a nice texture to the game here. Let's see. Oh, it does. This thing is velvety. It's rich, it's dark, it's dense. It's brighter than I thought it would be. I was waiting for like this real big oak punch and this like dense like brown sugar note. And while I do think there's some brown sugar in it, it's not that like rich, heavy brown sugar that I thought I was going to get based on the color and the proof. That does not drink 133. That thing drinks like maybe 118-ish. That's dangerous. Check that. It does have some big brown sugar notes here. The rye is just enough on the back end to keep that spice. The finish on here is awesome. It just lingers. It's got a lot of spice to it. There's a dark fruit note in here. I'm thinking I'm picking up like a fig Newton type note on this. It's really rich. Dude, make sure this bottle is in a floor bottle and you accidentally fall backwards. Jesus, says Whiskey Habit. Yeah, no, this is gonna have a nice spot for this bottle. This bottle's beautiful. Yeah, if anything, this bottle is just beautifully designed. Probably it's probably half the price of this bottle is probably the damn glass because of the hand blown. It's got I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but right in the middle of the bottle, I don't know if you can see it because it's so dark. You kind of see it there. It's got the logo. It's got the cardinal logo in there, so you kind of see the bird. If I just show it in the right area. Yeah, there you go. There's the bird right there. So yeah, it's inside the bottle, which is kind of cool. I mean, the whole Rising Tide Spirits, kind of everything is just kind of built into the bottle. Anyone from Ohio go to any of the Buffalo Trace drops today? Anybody win? Did anybody, get the chance to buy a $3,000 bottle of Double Eagle Very Rare or $7,500 worth of Weller Millennium? Anyone? Dude, this is so good. Oh, man. This is burnt. Oh, my God. That fig note that's on the mid palate. I love this. Such a rich, dark fruit, and the spice on this is incredible. This is really good. This is better than I thought it was going to be. I probably made a better decision going with the high rye versus the wheated, just because of my palate. I just like, man, that's good. I stayed away from the raffle, says John Logalba. Okay. Bought 2 Weller Millenniums. I'm going to be a millionaire when I resell, says Sean. Unfortunately, Sean, people are buying that shit for less than retail now, so you better go to the right place. Bourbon Bill, yeah, we have a Sagamore pick on the way, a 9-year. That's good. Pass on the raffle. So B August, the SRP on this is $250, but this one I got from Sealbox and they sold out pretty fast. But I would keep an eye out for this if you guys are interested in this one. I'm not sure where else they released, but I got this off of Sealbox. But this is a very, very dark, rich whiskey. Love the flavors of it. That Fig Newton note in it is just killer. There's a sneaky brightness to it that's almost tart. It's almost like a pomegranate seed that comes in right in the mid palate. It's like this little bright pop of like pomegranate that you get. Just like to give it that tartness before the brown sugar and the fig kick in on the back end, and then you get hit with the spice. This is really delicious. I mean, is it $250 good? I don't know. Is it better to me than Russell's 15? Probably not. But again, trying to call back to that comparison. Everyone wants to compare everything to Russell's 15. But I think for being a pot still whiskey with what they say the age was, 11 to 14. 11 to 14 years. Good age on it. I actually think for what you get in the bottle, the flavor profile here being pot still, I don't think it's a terrible price for an NDP. Am I crazy? Maybe I am a little crazy. I mean, I know it's not a heritage distiller. I know I'm not going to get like an amazing price on it. But 11 to 14 for $250 with like this beautiful bottle, all the cost that goes into that, I don't think it's terrible. Old Swagger sounds like a body wash. Russell Reserve 15, there can only be one. Okay, I'm going to actually pour a little more of this. And I'm going to let this sit out. I want to go back to this after it opens up a little bit. And then we'll revisit that because we're going to compare this to the Russell 13. Hell yeah, we are. So let's go here. All right, let's go to Russell 13. Here we are. So like I said, Russell's 13 is finally releasing again here. And this is the spring 2025 batch. Guys, we have 554 people loaded here in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Please hit the like button below while you're watching. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do. 100K is upon us, and I cannot wait to celebrate with all of you guys. This is going to be a collective celebration. This is not just me, but it's all of you guys that have supported me and the channel since 2018. It's pretty crazy. Since 2018. The fact that I'm a solo reviewer, I could get 100K without boring everybody to death. It's special, and I only have you guys to thank for it. So, yeah, subscribe if you haven't yet. So, okay. So I'm gonna pour this out, and I got my fancy stem glens for this one. America. So, okay, let's throw this in the bottle cam. So here is the Russell's Reserve 13 year for 2025. Now, as you see here, barrel proof, non-chill filtered. This is also the highest proof release ever coming from Russell's, at least up until now. As you could see, it says 123.8 proof. That's a very high proof for a Wild Turkey product. As you can see, I had it signed by Jimmy. It was signed by Eddie, and oh yeah, I did it. And then Bruce signed it right there at the top. So I got all the signatures. So pretty special. Now, if you look, here's the biggest difference here. Right there on the bottom of the label, it says Spring 2025. So instead of trying to hunt down laser codes, now you could just look at the spring batch, the fall batch, and everything in between when you're trying to figure out which batch is which. So there you go. So that is kind of the big change for the bottle here in 2025. Let me get through some of the details here. Okay. Because I was basically writing this all down as I was there yesterday. So I was literally at the distillery yesterday doing the tasting, going through the different attributes and details of this. So I'm here to give you every detail that I learned directly from Bruce Russell yesterday. So here we go. Let me get to where I was tasting this stuff here. Okay. All right. So let's see. All right. So this one was blended with less oak. They didn't hit on the oak profile as much as previous Russell's 13 batches. I'm not sure if that was the goal or that's just how it worked out. Bruce actually said a nice little tidbit yesterday. He said that the proofs at Wild Turkey have been going up. So this is why you're seeing stuff coming in now at 123 proof. So the barrels that they have are trending upwards proof wise. So I don't know if this means this is going to be more, watered down whiskey, especially when it comes to Russell Reserve single barrels, which gets proof down to 110. Now is it going to get proof down from 120 to 110, or is it going to get, still be around that 115, 116 mark, getting to the 110 mark? So we'll see how that trends as we go forward. So they wanted to focus on less oak for this batch coming off the 15, which had a pretty heavy oak profile. So there is, let me see here. I know I got the 160 barrels in this batch. Okay. 160 in here. 10, only 10 barrels in this batch out of the 160 were from Tyrone. The rest are from Camp Nelson. So this is a primarily Camp Nelson blend. So there you go. I asked him about age. It says 13. He says there are mostly 13. There's some 14, but he couldn't remember some of those 14 years switched over to 15, but it's mostly 13 years. So if you're hoping there are some of the 17, 18, and 19 and 20-year barrels that we've seen from Russell's Reserve in the past, from the Russell's 13s, that's not this batch, at least for the spring 2025. What else did I find out? I think those were the main. I think those are the main talking points that I could give you guys. Oh yeah, another news flash. He said the single Rickhouse Camp Nelson E this year, 128 proof. And he said it's a freaking banger. So as good as this 13 is, that Camp Nelson may be pretty special. So we'll see what happens as we get towards the end of the year here. Okay, let me go back because I did write a bunch of tasting notes. Okay, let's get into this here. Now, I do have a batch 2 of Russell's 13 that I've been ready to kill for a little bit. So let's go to a bottle kill here. You might as well grab that Russell's 15. I could tell you now, this isn't going to compare to Russell's 15 because, we tried it yesterday. Well, I really just bottle killed that. Goodbye, Russell's 13. It was nice knowing you. This was batch 2. We loved it. So good. I'm going to let that sit. I'm just going to use this as a little bit of a comparison here in a little bit. But you know what? Let's get all this out of the way. I want to give the spotlight to the 13. And then we'll get into it here. All right. I'm going to set that aside. All right. So Russell's 13 again comes in at 123.8 proof. Let's dive in. See if I remember this as much as I do yesterday. So the thing that will jump out, I think, to most people when they try this is how sweet it is. Again, to Bruce's point, he said way less oak, more sweetness in this blend, and that is what this is. It is a lot more sweet. This is, to me, on the nose, it is straight up vanilla cookies, vanilla wafers, a hint of spice. I will not pour that down the drain, Travis. I promise. Just a slight hint of like that cherry, but this is all creme brulee, vanilla. I get almond in this, very heavy. I get like that nice, almost, um, dare I say, marzipan. Freaking Fred's gonna come after me. But there is like a heavy almond note to me in here, like an almond cookie. It kind of goes hand in hand with that vanilla and that and this is so creme brulee on the nose. It really is. It just has a creamy vanilla custardy type of flavor profile, a little bit of burnt sugar. And it is true. Like here, I have this Russell's 13 that I just poured here. I mean, just comparing to this right now, this is so much more on the oaky side than this is. This is so much more on the oaky side than this is. This has the oak and almost that medicinal cherry that sometimes you get in ultra aged turkey that I love. However, this Russell's 13 spring batch, it's just sweet. It's a sweeter sipper, at least on the nose. All right, let's go to the palate here, guys. Same thing on the palate. When Bruce was describing this batch, he said this is closer to what Jimmy likes, Jimmy Russell, um, which is sweet and hot. And that's how this drinks. It drinks sweet and it drinks hot. It's got a lot of spice. This drinks like 120 something proof. There's no real, the rough edges are there. They're not smoothed out. They are there for everybody to taste and to feel, but you get a lot of sweet and you got a lot of heat. So the sweetness factor comes in. I still called it kind of like if you had like a vanilla cream and you dipped like Nilla wafers in it, like a Nilla wafer cookie. It's almost like an Oreo cookie, but instead of the chocolate Oreo slices that are on top, the chocolate cookie, it's Nilla wafers with that cream in the middle. But it's like it's that if you set it on fire and then you eat that. That's what this tastes like. And I know it sounds crazy, and I'm trying to be little theatrical, but that's the best way I could describe it. It's got a lot of sweet heat to it. Just straightforward. It's got a lot of sweet heat. Man, it's just it's just such a I'm not going to say a huge departure, but I feel like it is a departure from some of the previous Russell's 13 batches we've had. Given that this is more sweet focused rather than oak focused, it focuses on the spice, the little bit of the rough edges around the outside. It's not a super refined. I mean, it's refined without being too refined, if that makes sense. So, um, 15 was less oaky to me than the past 13s. Well, yeah, I could see that, Nathan, because it has so much richness and sweetness on the Russell's 13. If everyone is going to buy this stuff off secondary, then I don't blame the big guys for ever overcharging people. Going to pay the prices anyway, says Vary. This is sounding like the worst value 13 to date, says Bourbon Bill. 13 versus 15 are just two different animals in their own way. I would agree, especially this 13. Especially this 13. Based on my limited experience, you have to get down to the top of the label on a Russell's bottle to see what it really tastes like. MSRP on this one is 200. So price went up a little bit here. You are describing Disco 12 at a higher proof. Yeah, I mean, we could test that theory. I could grab Disco 12. I do think there's a little bit more depth here, but it's a sweeter profile. And I don't know. I don't think there's a wrong or right here. It's just going to be dependent on what your palate picks up. For me, I think I enjoy, again, I always like to be honest. I think I enjoy the older batches with a little bit of a heavier oak punch than this. But this is just different compared to that because, again, it focuses on the sweet flavors that turkey brings to the table. That creme brulee, I don't even get any of that typical turkey citrus in this. Like I said, it's just straight up creme brulee, Nilla wafer cookie, vanilla cream, and spice. I think there might be a hint of that dark fruit, that'll hint of that like cherry there, but it's very faint to me. Yeah, I would say that Jimmy 70th is sweeter than this. I've never had vanilla coated hot sauce, but I'm down, says Nick Foles. As long as they keep selling these things like hotcakes, they're justified in their price. When they start sitting on the shelves, they're too high. It's that simple. I think the heat does give it a little bit of a drying aspect on the back of the palate. But yeah, it's a sweet heat, man. It drinks sweet and hot. That's what it is. All right. So first things first, let me get this Russell's 13 here and we'll do a straight comparison. I mean, even if you look at the color here, the color difference, this 13 is definitely darker than this 13. So this is batch 2, which we're just killing, is definitely darker than the batch spring 2025. Let me grab the disco. Should I do 11 or 12? Which one should I do? 11 or 12, guys. I'm not going to do both. Pick one, 11 or 12. Which one has more turkey in it? 73 on the 11. Okay, I'll do the 11. Let's do the 11 here. Everyone's doing 12, 11, 12, 11. Let me try the 11 first. You know what? I will do the 12. Let me do the 11 first, and we'll see how this goes. All right. This is the favorite time of the program where you guys have me run around my whiskey room looking for bottles. I know you guys love it. So no problem there. All right, let's go to the batch 2 here real quick. Yeah, it's going to be both. What bourbon has the most cherry in it, says C. Johnson. It's a good question. I mean, there's a good amount with cherry, but I think mostly ultra aged turkey gets a ton of cherry, and sometimes it's borderline medicinal cherry. Stag Junior can get a lot of almost borderline cherry grape. Can definitely come through in some of that. I think the most cherry I've ever had is Wild Turkey. The Master's Keep 17 has a ridiculous amount of cherry. So does the Remus Gatsby. Those Remus Gatsby's 15-year, those get a ton of cherry, borderline medicinal as well. I feel like Heaven Hill gets it sometimes, not a ton. But I feel like Buffalo Trace gets more of a sweet cherry, whereas, well, actually, yeah, that's not true. Elijah Craig, we did an Elijah Craig barrel proof pick that had a ton of cherry, Luxardo cherry syrup, to be exact. So I think those are kind of the main ones, but there are plenty of other expressions like Michter's. Some of the older Michter's, you can make a case for some cherry there too. But as far as the most, I think that Wild Turkey Master's Keep bottled and bond 17-year probably has the most cherry I've ever tasted in a whiskey. Yeah, Calumets. The Calumets definitely have a lot of cherry, and that's Barton. Shows you how much Barton can get some cherry. So yeah. Yeah, Jorge T. Yeah, Ron Miles. What's up, buddy? Ron Miles is here. Green River. Single barrels. Beware. You might get some cherry tobacco. Dude, yeah, all of it. So, all right, let's go to the Russell's Reserve. 567 people watching. Hell of a night tonight. All right, let's compare batch 2, which is somewhat close to batch 1. People say that batch 1 and batch 3 are kind of like the two favorites. I think batch 2 is kind of an unsung hero because it's kind of close to 1, but maybe not as good as 1. but I think it's close enough. I looked in my bunker to see how many Russell's 13s I had bunkered back there, and I have 3 more back there. I have 2 1s and I have 1 3. So I definitely have some other Russell's 13s kind of bunkered back there. God, the noses couldn't be more different. Wow. This is that cherry, oak, sassafras, citrus, orange peel. This is aged turkey. And I believe batch 2, if I remember correctly, I know I wrote this down. Batch 2 has 13-year and 19-year in it. It's pretty similar to batch 1. So on the nose for the 13 versus, so this is spring 2025 versus batch 2. Man, sweet heat. I think there is a little oak spice there on the spring 25. Oh man, they're so different. Batch 2 is just straight up Luxardo cherry, man. Oh, thank you so much, Top Jimmy. 562 in the chat, 287 likes. That's right. Smash the like button. It's free to do it. Oh, speaking of Wild Turkey Revival, I just won a bottle of Wild Turkey Revival on Unicorn Auctions. Good price too. Not many people were bidding against me for it, so I have reacquired probably one of my favorite wild turkeys of all time, which is the Revival. So I will be cracking that open when I hit 100,000 subscribers for sure. All right, let's go to the Discovery 12. I'm sorry, 11, right? 11. So on the nose, the Discovery 11 isn't nearly as interesting as either of these Russell's 13s. The sweetness is there. I feel like it's a little bit more tamed, a little bit more oaky, but not as sweet as either of the two. But these two have completely different sweetness profiles. This one is, like I said, it's all creme brulee, vanilla, a lot of spice. And then this one leans into the oak and the cherry and the fruit and some of that singed orange peel that you get from turkey. Yeah, palate wise, I like both of these more than the 11 still. The 11's good, but I still think it doesn't have the depth that these two have, even though they're different. So, yeah, I mean, one sip here. I mean, yeah, the Discovery 11 is delicious, but it doesn't have the depth that these two have quite yet. I will say this one drinks a little more like the Spring 2025, again, without that super big heat punch that it has. Is the 100,000 celebration a live stream or something video on the main channel? Both, something else? It'll be a live stream. It'll be a live stream celebration. So yeah. All right. So let's put away the 11 year, or I should say 11. Let's go to the 12. America. Now, for me, if I remember correctly, I like the 12 a lot. So we'll see how this goes. Is Wild Turkey coming out with an age-stated barrel-proof rye? Didn't talk about that, Tim, but we did talk about Beacon a little bit. So Beacon is probably the last Master's Keep that will be released. That's going to be coming out this year. What I got from Bruce said it's a blend of 10-year and 14-year bourbon, and it's some of the initial bourbon that Bruce distilled when he started. So that's really kind of the big story behind it. He said he really loves it, but he said that Camp Nelson single rickhouse, that could be the star of the show this year. So more to come. We'll see what we get. See, Discovery 12, way more depth here. guys. More depth on the nose, sweeter. Even though, oh, man, that orange peel is here all day long. I get almond on here too. Why am I picking up that? It's like a cannoli cream. I love it. Hot take, says Nathan. Sweet. Jason did a Dickle pick with Rare Bird last week, and they rolled out a couple bangers. Just giving the heads up, you hope you guys get a similar offering. I hope so, Dano. We're going to be asking it. We're going to be asking for some bangers. Ron Miles already said 12 over 11. Ron, I don't disagree, even off the nose here. Do you like the Russell's Rye? I do, and I think Russell's Single Barrel Rye is probably one of the most underrated ryes on the market. And I think people avoid it, one, because it's a rye, and two, because it's like $65. Dude, I forgot how good Discovery 12 is. Oh my gosh. Discovery 12 has the sweetness that you can get from a good turkey, but there's other levels of it, with the blend. If you guys don't remember, this has holy crap, I can't even read that shit anymore. I'm getting old. I need readers. I need freaking readers. Let's see if we can. Let me look at this. Okay. 46% of a 14-year turkey, 20% of a 10-year Heaven Hill. Sorry, Schmevin Schmill. Was that 35% of a Kentucky Beam? And 8% Bardstown 6-year, which is a 4-grain, which has their wheater in it. It's a 4-grain. So, dude, killer blend here. But this is better than 11. I don't care what anybody says. That is a better pour than the 11. Discovery 12 is better than 11. 11 was great, but then 12 came out. This Russell's 13, batch number 2. It's still the oakiest out of all three. Discovery 12 has the depth, I think, that's close to this number 2 without the big oak. It's got the sweetness, but then it just kind of tails off. It doesn't have the big oak punch and the medicinal flavors, the medicinal cherry that you get from the Russell's 13 batch number 2. Now, after trying these two, now let's go back to Russell's 13 for this year. It is so freaking sweet. This is vanilla custard, vanilla bean. Dude, it's heavy vanilla with the heat. When you come off of these two and your palate has acclimated to the proof, this thing is pure candy in a glass. So I mean, when you talk about flavor profiles here, wait, did you say Wild Turkey is discontinuing Master's Keep after this year's Beacon? Yep, that's the and Abortive Romance. Yeah, that's what Bruce said. Correction. Bruce did say he's not sure if it will ever come back, but after Beacon, there's going to be a lull we're not going to see a Master's Keep. I mean, so if Beacon is this year, I don't think we're going to see a Master's Keep next year. Who knows about the year after, but there's going to be a little bit of a break for Master's Keep, according to Bruce. And he said that live here on the live stream that he was on a few months ago. So you could always go back and watch that. He dropped a lot of cool nuggets that one. So here's the thing. If you like the Russell's 13 of old with the oak and the cherry and everything in between, I don't really think that's what Russell's 2025 is. Russell's 2025 leans into the vanilla, the almond, the vanilla cream, maybe a slight hint of cherry, but it's barely there compared to this one. And I do think that it really does lean into on what Jimmy likes. According to Bruce, Jimmy likes his whiskeys sweet and rough around the edges. And that is what this Russell's 13 2025 is. So is it as rounded and as does it have as much depth as some of the older batches? I don't think so, but that's what they were going for. So whether you like that or not, that's going to be up to you and your palate. I'm just telling you, I'm just giving you the guidance here, guys, what I'm tasting and what I got from Bruce. So yeah, so make it your own. If anything, I'll say this: Russell's 13 for 2025. I think I would buy it at retail. I'd buy another one, but I wouldn't buy it anywhere above retail because it doesn't have, like, you talk about Russell 13, 1, 2, 3. I mean, those are special batches. Yeah, those are going to be higher if you're trying to, find one of those, now. But this Russell's 13 right now, if you can find it at retail, it's a buy. It's delicious. I think it just gets sweeter and sweeter, but that sweet heat is delicious. If you rather have the oak and the cherry and that singed orange peel that Russell's 13 is known for, it's really not that present in this spring batch of 2025. Also, real quick, there's not going to be a fall batch of Russell's 13 this year. That was confirmed also by the folks at Wild Turkey. Because they are coming out with Beacon and they are coming out with the single rick house Camp Nelson E. So because they have all of those competing factors against Russell's 13, I don't think they're going to be bringing out a Russell's 13 fall batch. However, we could see a fall 2025 and maybe early 2026. That could happen. But I think this year, with the two big releases that they have coming, it's going to be kind of a wrap for Russell's 13 this year. So, what's the new section on the label underneath where it says barrel proof? It's just the alcohol content. That's all. The new section is here next to the logo. If anybody chimed in and missed it, that is the new section right there where it says Spring 2025. That is new. So no more laser codes to chase after. Now you know the exact batch that you're getting based on the season and the year. So no chasing down laser codes for batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, batch 4. Now you could just say spring 2025 is way better than spring 2027, whenever we get to that point. So yeah, I think the distilleries are responding to the economy, starting to let stocks age and wait for the market to recover versus release 12-year age statements at 18-year prices and see them sit on shelves. I think that's a decent point, Chris. It's so hard to get into the minds of like bourbon marketing folks. You got to remember what's really different about bourbon is that it's so future focused. Sometimes you have releases that people taste, and they're like, "Holy shit, this is perfect. We have to release this now because it's ready. Let's go." But most of the time, they're looking at what they have aging, what they have in the future, years and months ahead that they can release based on the time frame. And I think as time goes on, they adjust the prices accordingly. What are people paying? What are they not paying? And everything else in between. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Single rick house is going to probably be a $300-something bottle still, which is rough. If you don't want to pay that, then the Russell's 13 might be the way you can go. Jason C., can you quickly discuss what picks are coming for the M&J? It says Whiskey Nose. Yeah, Marty. So man, picks from Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. Cedar Ridge American Single Malt with Amontillado Bourbon. Cedar Ridge PX Sherry with macerated orange peels, single barrel, which is one of the most velvety, super like thick whiskeys I've ever had. Our Ben Holiday pick is coming in really soon. That is a soft red Rickhouse proof wheater. We picked a Chattanooga not too long ago. That's going to be the stouted mash. It's heavy chocolate, heavy spice. Love that one. We have a Bardstown Bourbon Company pick that's coming real soon. We're picking the 2 Jack Daniels. We're picking the Dickel, which we'll see how that goes. We picked 2 Crittendens last night, which were incredible. The rye that we picked last night tastes like cherry Dr. Pepper. I shit you not. It is unbelievably delicious. And then the weeder we got, the weeded bourbon that we picked from Crittenden is just it's on another level. You would never know that those are like from a smaller kind of crafty distillery. They're so good. We also have two 12-year bull ryes that were distilled or created from High West that somehow made its way to Cat's Eye Distilling that we're going to be releasing underneath the G Nassif's label over at Cat's Eye Distilling. So those two single barrels will be coming, and those are bangers. You're talking about barrel proof at 105, 106 proof, and they are bull ryes, and they are 12 years old, and they are freaking amazing. So we're going to be releasing two barrels of those coming. We just did a Buffalo Trace pick as well. Our first Buffalo Trace pick ever, a 90 proofer that tastes like straight up grape Jolly Rancher. That thing is delicious. I don't say delicious often, but it's really that good. I say delicious. Okay. I love Wednesday live shows. Cheers all, says Diego G. Love you too, man. Let's see if we will be able to see that Russell Reserve in local stores. Scary to see the prices. Where is the NBC pick you guys did source from? The NBC pick we did, that's NGP. That's an MGP pick. So if you guys have not paid attention, Nashville Barrel Company still has our Nashville Barrel Company picks that we did. They are on the website right now. If you guys want to go over to the website, grab a Mash and Journey pick. They are public. They are live. Our group did not buy all of them. I think the timing was weird and the price was a little bit high. But if you guys want to drink a glass of chocolate fudge, go grab that Nashville Barrel Company pick because it's freaking delicious. So, yep. Yeah, we're going to do Bowman Cast Strength right now. We're going to close out the night with it. Laser Code Goodness. Can't wait to track this down. All right. So real quick, guys. Conclusion here. Russell's 13 Spring 2025. Okay. You did grab one. If you like sweeter, if you like sweet and you like heat, then this is going to be your batch. If you think that the 2025 is going to taste like the Russell's 13s of old, it doesn't. It's different. It is creme brulee. It is very vanilla heavy. It is vanilla cream forward. Maybe a hint of that citrus, maybe a hint of that cherry, but it really, really goes into like the sugary sweet and the heat of it. It drinks like 123 proof, and that's basically the what they were going for. Again, 13-year whiskey in this, some 14-year whiskey in this, 160 barrel blend. 10 barrels came from Tyrone. The rest came from Camp Nelson, according to Bruce Russell. So I like it. I think it's a nice departure for Russell's 13, but I could see why some people may not like it if they are so in love with some of the ones from the previous releases. But I like this one because the American palate likes sweets, and I feel like they're going to like this one too. So that is the final verdict. Full review of this probably dropping tomorrow. So let's put this down. You know what? Let's blend a little of the batch 2 into batch 2025. I just love blending. And I'm telling you, man, this Discovery 12 year, if this is still laying around on shelves, what the hell are you guys doing? You need to get this immediately. It's so good. I could see people liking this more than this Russell's 13. There's like different sweetness layers to it, whereas this is more 3-4 layers. This has a little bit more layers to it. That's ridiculous. Better than 11. Easily. All right. I'm going to keep that blend here. We'll finish the night with that blend, but in the meantime, somebody's been asking me to do the Bowman. Here it is. I was lucky enough to get the Bowman. I don't think we're going to have time to do Michter's 10-year rye. I'll have to do that another night, guys, or do a full review of it. Sorry. It's on no shelf, completely non-existent. It's on no shelf. What's on no shelf? Him. It's on no shelf, completely non-existent. What are you talking about? It's not. Can't find anywhere. What can't you find anywhere? Oh, the 12. You talking about the 12? Yeah, I think they made less of the 12, but I don't know. I see a lot of Bardstown on the shelf, so I'm just wondering if it is sitting, in some places. The Disco 12. Okay, sorry guys. All right, let's go. This is the A. Smith Bowman cask strength, batch number 4 with a 10-year age statement on it. This is supposedly sourced Buffalo Trace distillate white dog, put through the pot still in Virginia, and then aged for 10 years. So, yeah, they didn't release much. Ron Miles says, shh. Okay. I still see 10 on the shelf, but I've never seen 12. You need to pair that with batch 3. Batch 3 is upstairs. I'm not going to get batch 3, but maybe I'll do a video on batch 3 versus batch 4, and we'll see which one I like more. Let's get into this. It was kind of like crazy because I literally just did the review for batch 3, and in the video I'm like, you can't find these. These are, lottery only. They drop in some stores, but I think it's in Virginia and blah, blah, blah. And then this just shows up in Ohio. And I'm like, well, that was a lie. That sucks. So here we are. Now we're drinking Abraham Bowman. So amazingly close to 100K. Y'all, please subscribe to it if you're not. It's free, and click that like button. How about you? Thank you so much, Amy Bohm, you legend. Amy Bohm in the house. Thank you so much. Have over 500 people watching tonight. Thank you guys so much for the support. Love you guys. So, all right. Unicorn has a Discovery 12 for 205. Current bid, 3 days left. I wonder how high that goes, Whiskey Habit. Yeah. I've been asked to do a video on Unicorn overall and like the experience. Would you guys be interested in a video like that? Kind of going through. I'm not sure how many people in the chat use Unicorn or know about it. It is a cool place to get bottles when you need, if you want. Obviously, you're going to pay a premium, but the real challenge with Unicorn are the fees. After you win the bid, that's the thing that kills you. You can win a bid for $200, but after the fees come out, you're probably paying close to $300 for shipping, for all the fees are involved. But somebody asked me, like, do a Unicorn video on how it works. Video on secondary could be great. Jason, when are you going to restock the all black hats? Says Kenneth Clark. I was trying to get it out this week, Kenneth, but my work schedule just got crazy. I'm going to try next week to get it on there. Unicorn is a pretty big ripoff, in my opinion, says Hack and Mac. Yeah, obviously the bid part is, you're going to bid against some people, but the fees is what kills you at the end. Have you had the Henry Clay 16 year? I have not, says PD Traveler. If you show both seller and buyer, would be cool. Oh, that's a good point, Night Method. Okay. Let's get into this 10. So this 10-year off the nose already comes off a little bit more refined than the batch 3, which is on the label a year younger. Old Fitz is HH, not Beam. Okay, yeah. You just got to play it smart. Yeah, you got to play it smart. I mean, you have the snipers that come in right at the end that do a high bid, like right before it ends. But some people set it up on Unicorn where no matter what you bid, it automatically brings them to the higher bid, which I don't know if that's from another bidder or if Unicorn is doing that to bring up the prices. That's the one thing that I always think is a little bit shady. Yeah, the buyer's premium is insane, Victor. I agree, man. It's insane. The fees and everything on top of it. By the time you're done, like I got the Master's Keep Revival like for a good price, but then once all the fees kicked in and the shipping, I was like, holy crap. Like, there goes my good bid. Like, holy shit. Oh, yeah. And real quick, speaking of Warehouse K, Bruce Russell mentioned this year for Russell's picks. Warehouse K is hitting again. Camp Nelson E is hitting again. And Tyrone B is hitting again. So if you see picks from those 3 locations, go get it. Okay. Wow. Batch 4 is a lot darker than 3. 3 had the cherry, the grape. This is darker. I mean, I know it's a 1-year age statement jump, but this has this gives you like a almost like a I mean, what would you even call it? Like, it's grapey, but the grape almost feels like it's caramelized, like it's like cooked down, like it's cooked down grape. Wait, is Tyrone B special? I see Kentucky Spirit single from Tyrone B earlier this month. Yeah, this year, supposedly, Whiskey Habit, Tyrone B is crushing it. So there you go. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a video on this because this is darker than batch 3, and I'm digging it all day long. This has, I mean, what do you call like caramelized grape? What is that? That's like fig and like dates, not prunes, but like like dates, honey. Damn, that is dark and proofy as shit. This is oh dear God, 139.7 proof. Holy shit. We're almost at hazmat levels. Wow. Dude, that is so good. Raisin. Thank you, Travis. Raisin. I couldn't think of freaking raisin. A little bit too much whiskey tonight. Dude, this is night. That'll do. That is ridiculous. That might be the best thing I've had tonight. Holy shit. That is the best thing I drank tonight. I'm sorry. It is. Raisin, little bit of milk chocolate in there. Dude. I gotta stop saying dude. I have batch 3 of the A. Smith. Just walked in a small store one day that I never been and saw it, and I was like, "What the, dude?" The 3 is really good, but this is. I have not tried batch 2, Justin Moore. Have not. Can't wait to crack mine now. Drop the mic. Yeah, we're gonna drop the mic right now. Is it worth secondary? If so, how much? Says B Og. Considering I paid $330 for for the batch 3 off of Unicorn, keeping with the theme, I don't think that was worth $330. If I paid $330 for this, I'd probably be a little bit happier about it because this thing is a beast. This is like stag level shit. Like, damn, that is. I mean, it drinks hot, but it's got so much flavor and depth to it. It is a brown sugar, raisin, chocolate, grapey. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of that. All right, before we sign off tonight, guys, I'm gonna try this blend. This is the Russell's 13 blend with the Russell's 13 for 2025 and the Russell's 13 for number 2. It didn't work. I think the sweetness of the batch of the 2025 brought out a little bit of the bitterness in the oak of batch 2. I think batch 2 is not to be trifled with, unfortunately. Yeah, wouldn't do that blend. Nope. Still like the Bowman. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Tune in next week. as who knows what we're going to do next week. I don't know. It's going to be my last live stream for a couple weeks. So tune in. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe I'll do, we'll play a little bit of a game. You guys can send me around the damn whiskey room and pick out bottles to compare like you guys love. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for the support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And also, yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Again, let me know down in the comments next week what you would like to see. Maybe we'll do, I haven't done one of the brand lineups in quite a while. Maybe we focus on a brand and do a complete drink through of a brand. Maybe we'll do that next week. Let me know down in the comments what you think. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share with. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out tonight. This was awesome. Great night for whiskey. And I will see you next week right here on the Master Drum. Same bat time, same bat channel. Cheers, fellas and ladies.